Members, we are starting with the second session, which is the panel discussion on the subject of expectations from internal auditors and how does internal auditor add value. Since there are three panelists and the moderator as well, the introduction will take little time. May I request my colleague in the core committee, Aman Khandelwal, to start the proceeding, please.
Thank you, Lalit bhai. Good evening, members, for the second session. I'll first introduce the moderator of the session, Sachin Maloo. Sachin Maloo is a chartered accountant and he's a managing director with Trivedi India with over 22 years of advisory experience, including 15 years with Big Four consulting firms. His competencies are internal audit, enterprise risk management, controls transformation, process automation, and strengthening of corporate governance. Across his tenure, he had led internal audit mandates across multinational corporations, listed entities, promoter-driven organizations, and startups. He specializes in manufacturing, pharmaceuticals, energy, and utilities and FMCG sector. With this, now I request the core committee member, Lalit Panchalji, to kindly felicitate the moderator with a memento. And I also request you to hand over the CABF Benevolent Fund receipt of ₹500. Now let me introduce our first panelist of the day, Chetan Thakkar ji. He is holding a lot of degrees. He is a fellow member of Chartered Accountant. ICAI. He has done leadership programs from IIM Ahmedabad and ISB Hyderabad and CBS Denmark. He has also done EMBA from Harvard Management Mentor USA in 2016. He is a certified risk management from ICAI and he topped in the exams also. He is a certified internal auditor CIA from IIA, Florida, USA. He also holds diploma in information systems audit from ICAI. Now about his professional background. In a career spanning over the last 29 years, which includes 25 years of CAPQE, he has audited various large-size listed companies, MNCs, banks, to name a few ones, Aditya Birla Group, Grasim, Indian Rayon, ONGC, L&T, ACC, Crompton Greaves, Blue Star, and on and on. Presently working with JSW Steel Limited as an Associate Vice President, Head Group Audit and Risk Management for steel, port, cement, energy, and mining verticals. He is overseeing audit of 16 plants in India. His last stint was with Prism Cement Limited as a head management assurance with Ambuja Cement Limited as a head corporate audit. He is a past board of governor and vice president at IIA India Bombay chapter, chair of membership, advocacy and student development committee. He is also a regular speaker at board IASB, IIA, ICAI, WRC, BCS, B-School, Big Four, and other study sectors. In terms of expertise, he is a subject matter expert in the areas of internal audit, internal controls over financial reporting, operational audits, management audits, process improvement studies, fraud investigations, financial due diligence, risk management, ethics and compliance, and ERP implementation. With this, now I request CA Vandana ma'am to kindly come on the stage and felicitate the first panelist. Now, let me introduce the second panelist of the day, CA Meghna Maloo. She is a seasoned finance and risk professional with over 18 years of extensive experience in internal audit, risk management, process automation across the real estate, construction and hospitality industry. She began her career with an 8-year tenure at KPMG, where she specialized in governance, risk and compliance services, working with a wide range of clients to enhance their control environments and operational efficiency. Following this, she joined Borivali Realty Limited, where she served over a decade as the head of internal audit and later as the chief risk officer, playing a key role in building robust risk frameworks and driving automation initiatives. She then transitioned into an operations-focused role within Borivali Realty, leading cost control initiatives and supporting procurement strategy to improve financial outcomes. Currently, she is the Director Finance at Upside Investec Networks Private Limited, where she continues to leverage her deep domain expertise to drive strategic and financial planning and governance. Now I request CA Vipul to kindly come over the stage and kindly hand over a memento to our second panelist. Moving on to the third panelist of the day, CA Amit Trivedi. He is a founding partner in KV80 company. He brings 25 years of expertise in corporate governance, risk management, internal audit compliance, forensics, technology consulting, and business process re-engineering. His global consulting experience spans India, the UK, USA, UAE, Brazil, KSA, and multiple African nations, enabling strategic value creation for clients. Recognized as the CEO of the Year in the year 2020-21 by the Indian Achievers Forum, he exemplifies impactful leadership. Considering his long tenure in the consulting industry, he has expertise in various industry sectors including FMCG, supply chain, ports and logistics, healthcare, telecom, real estate, manufacturing, banking, insurance, mutual funds, retail, IT, shipping. He is a motivational speaker as well and as well as an industry mentor, actively engaging with professional forums like ICAI, WIRC, Tata Strive and Vikasa. His leadership is rooted in ethics, innovation and sustainable success, ensuring his company, KV80 company, is at the best forefront of excellence in risk advisory and consulting. Now I request Vijay Jain sir to kindly come on the stage and present a memento to our third panelist of the day. I guess now we can start with the panel discussion.
Good evening everyone, and thank you for being there for this panel discussion. आज के पैनल का जो टॉपिक है वो है एक्सपेक्टेशंस फ्रॉम इंटरनल ऑडिट. एंड मैं 20 साल से ये प्रोफेशन में हूँ. ये 20 साल में मैंने देखा है कि इंटरनल ऑडिट से पहले जब एक्सपेक्टेशन थी शायद से अकाउंटिंग एंगल से थी, बट धीरे धीरे अकाउंटिंग से बिजनेस ऑपरेशन से कॉस्ट सेविंग से आप कैसे बिजनेस को गाइड कर रहे हो, ये एक्सपेक्टेशन जनरली हर 2-4 साल में बढ़ती गई है. एंड स्पेशली लास्ट 4-5 साल में जब टेक्नोलॉजी इतनी बढ़ गई है तो इंटरनल ऑडिटर से सिर्फ उनको अकाउंटिंग नॉलेज की ज़रूरत नहीं है, बट उनको आईटी, जियोपॉलिटिकल, आपकी इकोनॉमी कैसे जा रही है, आपके लॉ और कंप्लायंसेस कैसे जा रहे हैं, ये भी एक साल पर साल इंटरनल ऑडिट से एक्सपेक्टेशन बढ़ते जा रहा है. सो आज के हमारे जो पैनलिस्ट है उनके पास इतना एक्सपीरियंस है, वो इतनी बड़ी कंपनी के साथ काम कर रहे हैं. तो मेरा फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन उनके लिए यही होगा कि आज के दिन में इंटरनल ऑडिटर से जो एक्सपेक्टेशंस है, चाहे वो बोर्ड ऑडिट कमेटी की हो, चाहे वो CEO CFO की हो, या चाहे वो बिजनेस हेड और डिफरेंट डिपार्टमेंट्स की हो, आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट कि वो उससे अपना पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू देना चालू करें.
Hello, am I audible? Yeah. I think Sachin rightfully started. Unlike such auditor, we are not reporting to the shareholders. We are reporting to the stakeholders. And as he rightly mentioned, the apex body is board of directors and audit committee. Second level comes CFO, CEO, and third level comes operation team. So I will just take through about what are the expectations from an audit committee, from an internal auditors. See, our main job, they are the apex body as I said, and they are not with the company throughout the year. They hardly come maybe 4 times or 6 times a year, very limited time. But however, they are responsible for everything that goes wrong alongside the management. So we are like ears and eyes for them. They are completely bank on us as an internal auditor. Okay? So our job is to update them. Importantly, the high and critical audit areas, which we reviewed over the pre-A. We take them to the existing risks, evolving risks, what is happening around, which affects the company operation, guided them with the mitigation plan. We help them with the appraise on the any fraud, what we come across during the course of our audit. We update them on that. We help them with the compliance, legal compliances, tax compliances, where do we stand? Are we floating on any major non-compliance? In terms of severity, criticality, so our job is to appraise them, help them to entrust their responsibility, because they are responsible under Companies Act 2023. There are a lot of obligation under LODR, so we have to shield them and guide them with the right set of state of the affairs. We even help them, importantly, the very promising area. One is IFC. You all know IFC is also very important. May it be a financial reporting, disclosure, O2C, system control, ITGC. So we have to let them know the financial reporting happening and disclosure happening where it is required. It is fair, accurate, and the last but not least, to my understanding, it's at my company, at least at JSW, I do related party review every quarter. That is the expectation set by my board. So close to 18 plants I handle. I do related party review every quarter. We give them all the transactions happen with the fairness. It is on the arm's length. It is in the ordinary course, nothing out, and there is no favoritism happen to any of the related company. So we give them all in all comfort to them, not only as an assurance, as well as on a consulting point also, we keep them appraised on quarter on quarter. Thank you.
Sorry.
So as rightly mentioned by Chetan bhai for the board, so I will basically cover what are the expectations from the CFO and CEO point of view, because at our level we also deal directly with the CFO and CEOs. So as Moderator bhai rightly mentioned in the first session that CEO CFO को चांद भी चाहिए, सब कुछ चाहिए. So basically jokes apart, yes, so they really expect what deep knowledge you have within the industry what they are working. So the expectation is कि we need to really grow deep into the industry जहाँ पे हम काम करें in terms of the regulations which are being for that particular industry in which the company, the CFO, CEO is there. Second thing is in terms of the dynamic team, what kind of team we deploy. So these are all from the expectations from the internal audit, but from the within the company, so which is more on the financial side, compliance, regulatory. So how well we report the accuracy on the basis of which the decisions are being made by those CFO and CEOs. So the accuracy is very important. So they expect the internal auditor brings to the table on the basis of the accuracy जो लोग कर रहे हैं, तो वो काम on what basis the decisions are being taken. Third is on the use of the technology. What technologies we bring as an expert to the company for which we are working. So it's always the true value for money which is always expected, and as a part of we as a internal auditors also need to be considerate, or we need to be very clear that we certainly give the company in terms of what they are expecting from us in terms of the value for money. Fourth, I think the expectation of the CEO is also in terms of I think the reporting, not in terms of the frequency. So everything is not the expectation is more from the proactive rather than being reactive. So not only bring problems to the table, but also they expect some practical solutions applicable to the industry. So that is also one of the key which they really expect in terms of the best industry practice, in terms of the realistic, I will say, the recommendations, and in terms of competitor benchmarking. So these are all the things which are now being expected rather than just getting into the observations and the audit findings. So that competitor knowledge, growing deep, narrowing deep, rather is the most expected thing right now.
Good evening, everyone. Hi, I'm Meghna. And like Chetan bhai and Amit ji has highlighted, what is the role from expectations from a audit committee and CEO, CFO perspective. I will like to take up how the operations team या management जो होता है, आपके head हैं departments के, उनको क्या expectation होती है. First of all, when any auditor goes to a HOD, उनको लगता है यार ये फिर आ गए हमारी गलतियां ढूंढने. So traditionally, it has always, internal audit has been considered as a fault finding exercise. Now slowly, we as the community, we have to change that perspective. We have to partner with them as a consultant and an advisor rather than being a fault finder. I mean, हम जब when we were young, हमको ऐसा लगता था अच्छा आज हमने इतने observations निकाले. But trust me, when you are doing business, आप पहले business के बारे में सोचते हो. You want to achieve the goals that the business has given you. तो आप उस goals को achieve करने में आपका उनका जो expertise है, like a procurement team, उसको पता है कि अच्छा इससे मेरे को कैसे negotiation करना है. उसको ये नहीं पता अच्छा मेरे को contract में ये चीज़ें add करनी है तो मेरे risk अवॉइड होंगे. उसको ये नहीं पता मुझे जीएसटी में क्या हम सेविंग्स कर सकते हैं, हम उसको कैसे स्ट्रक्चर कर सकते हैं. वी एज चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स, व्हेन वी अंडरस्टैंड द बिजनेस, वी अंडरस्टैंड द टैक्स लॉज एंड हम उनको ये स्ट्रक्चरिंग में हेल्प करते हैं. दैट इज वेयर दे फाइंड अस एज एडवाइजर्स. सो नाउ द रोल इज चेंजिंग कि हम उनको कैसे एडवाइस कर सकते हैं इंस्टेड ऑफ उनकी गलतियां निकालने के बदले. तो दे एक्सपेक्ट फ्रॉम अस कि हम उन्हें सॉल्यूशंस देंगे, प्रैक्टिकली इम्प्लीमेंटेबल सॉल्यूशंस. देन व्हाट आर द न्यू सॉफ्टवेयर्स अवेलेबल. मतलब आज की डेट में सॉफ्टवेयर्स की कमी नहीं है. आप आरपीए बोल लो, एआई बोल लो, उसमें से सबसे बेस्ट सॉफ्टवेयर कौन सा है और उस सॉफ्टवेयर को कैसे इम्प्लीमेंट कर सकते हैं. मतलब सॉफ्टवेयर इज एज गुड एज द इम्प्लीमेंटेशन दैट इज डन फॉर इट. So that is the key. मतलब आप as advisors, you have to guide them कि उनको कैसे वो implementation successful बनाना है, उसको कैसे use करना है. The other part is exception handling. हम जब business करते हैं तो हमेशा ये नहीं possible है कि हम सारे risks cover कर सकते हैं या हम compliance ही हमेशा follow कर सकते हैं. कभी कभी business के objectives achieve करने के लिए there will be certain exceptions. कभी कभी पीआर बाद में भी बन सकता है पीओ के. बट उस टाइम पे जब वो अर्जेंसी होती है तो बिजनेस वाले भूल जाते हैं कि अच्छा मेरे को पहले बिजनेस देखना है. बट देयर हैज टू बी अ वे इन विच दैट एक्सेप्शन हैज टू बी हैंडल्ड एंड रिपोर्टेड. दैट इज समथिंग दैट वी एज इंटरनल ऑडिट टीम वी कैन गाइड देम कि अच्छा ये सिचुएशंस जब आते हैं, ये सिनेरियोज जब आते हैं तो उसको कैसे हैंडल किया जा सकता है. तो ये है डिफरेंशिएटर. दिस इज व्हाट दे आर एक्सपेक्टिंग आउट ऑफ अस. लाइक अमित भाई सेड, बेंचमार्किंग. बाहर क्या रेट चल रहा है, क्या प्रोसेस चल रहा है, बाहर की दुनिया कैसे इवैल्यूएशन कर रही है. दैट इज समथिंग दैट वी कैन हेल्प बिकॉज वी इंटरैक्ट विद अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल. वी कैन हेल्प देम विद दोज थिंग्स कि अच्छा वो ये वाला सॉफ्टवेयर यूज कर रहे हैं, वो ये प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं, उन्होंने अपना कॉन्ट्रैक्ट इस तरीके से स्ट्रक्चर किया है, आप ये करेंगे तो आपको ये फायदे होंगे. इफ वी गिव दिस आउट टू देम देन दैट इज समथिंग दैट दे विल रियलाइज. अच्छा आप हमको हमारी गलतियां सुधारने के लिए हैं, हमारी गलतियां निकालने के लिए नहीं है. So that is where I think is the biggest differentiator and the role evolution of internal audit in today's day. Thank you.
आई थिंक जो सेकंड क्वेश्चन जहाँ पे ये पैनलिस्ट के ओपिनियन बहुत मायने रखते हैं वो ये है कि हम क्या ऑडिट करते हैं। एक टाइम पे इंटरनल ऑडिट कवर करते थे, परचेज ऑर्डर निकालने के पहले ऑडिट कर लो, पेमेंट करने के पहले ऑडिट कर लो, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स बराबर अप्रूवल है या नहीं, वो साइन प्रॉपर हुए या नहीं, रिव्यू हुए या नहीं, वो आप अप्रूव कर लो। बट अगेन लास्ट 15 साल में चीज़ें चेंज हुई है। अब सिर्फ आपको प्रोक्योरमेंट या कलेक्शन, रेवेन्यू, इन्वेंट्री, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के ऑडिट की जगह अब बोर्ड, सीईओ, सीएफओ, मैनेजमेंट सबकी एक्सपेक्टेशंस भी चेंज हो गई है एंड टेक्नोलॉजिकल कॉम्प्लिकेशन और कॉम्प्लेक्सिटीज भी इतनी आ गई है। सो मेरा सेकंड क्वेश्चन ये होगा कि उनके मैनेजमेंट की अब क्या एक्सपेक्टेशन है या उनके ऑडिट एरियाज में क्या क्या नए ऑडिट एरियाज आए हैं विच जो कवर कर रहे हैं। और इसमें चेतन भाई के लिए एक और स्पेशल क्वेश्चन है, उनकी कंपनीज नए कंपनीज अक्वायर करती है, नए बिजनेसेस में जाती है, तो उसमें बोर्ड या सीएक्सओ पर्सपेक्टिव से क्या एक्सपेक्टेशन होती है कि एक कंपनी आपने अक्वायर की तो इंटरनल ऑडिट में उसमें आप उसको कैसे आप उसको अप्रोच करें।
Sure, thank you for the question. I will take second question first. See, as you rightfully said, we are close to, I'm from JSW, so we are close to 3 trillion company. I'll just give you the background. We are multi-geography, multi-product company. We are into steel, cement, mining, infra, port business, sports, many more things. We handle close to 40 board meetings every quarter. That is 32 audit committee and 8 risk committee. That's the level we do it. We close at least 1200 post-audit reports. We handle forensic. We handle compliance. We are even sitting on the entire risk management, and we do DOP and DOA for the entire group. So this is the kind of portfolio what we handle with a small team of 40 people, and we follow co-sourcing, looking at the business side as well. As Sachin rightfully said, you must be, every now and then you must be saying in the newspaper about Jindal Group buying out energy, cement. It's an ongoing process. And the major most expectation from our chair, our MD, CEOs and CFO from internal audit, rather than getting into those traditional conventional audit, the major challenge for us, get them in alignment to our culture. Because that is the major most important. So we have our own policies, so we have to get them. We have some software. If they have something else, legacy software, so we have to bring them to our software over the time. Cultural difference, HR issues, HR policies, SOPs, GOPs. So getting and aligning them with the JSW culture, it will not going to happen overnight. It will at least take 6 months to 1 year, depends on the size of entity or the way we take it. So that is a major expectation from us. So we help them not only do the project audit, we take the stock of important cultural issues first. So that is our priority in the first 6 months to 1 year. Then we get along. Once they streamline, then we get into the normal audit. So now coming to the first question, Sachin, you rightfully said, say I am into an audit now close to 3 decades. I have seen the entire cycle what Sachin has briefed about, from transaction to system and corporate governance. Now I will discuss more in greater detail. So here definitely we do a conventional audits. As I told, we do close to 1200 projects a year. So not only, but now we get into the non-conventional area, which time has come, and this is the expectation. As I told you sometime before, we do related party, or that we don't outsource, we do it. That's a mandate to all our entire team. So whatever major entity, we do related party review. Is there an arm's length? All contracts are there, duly approved, fair pricing, no favoritism, no conflict of interest. So we issue a detailed report every quarter to all our audit committee. A subject very non-conventional. Second, I don't know how many of us doing a organization culture audit. So that is very important, very skillfully needs to be done. So where do we can improve on culture? Because many things, whatever you want to do it, the culture is the one which drives everything. So you have to set that culture right in the people. Third important one, COC, that is Code of Conduct, Ethics Audit. Another one important one is project audits. Another important, which is gaining a greater importance, I think Mozilla has touched upon, cyber security, ITGC, which is very, very important, because anything is everything. If you know that cyber attacks, it happens on any company. Once it's come into newspaper, the harm which happens to company, the much bigger harms happen if it is come in the media and newspaper. the way share price goes down, everybody has experienced many companies. So these are very important. Sometimes we as an internal auditor doesn't even touch. It is not you need to know as an internal auditor. We can always hire the subject matter expert who understand this thing. So we have if you have in-house team, that's great. If you don't have it, please hire, but do this non-conventional social media audit. Because that is also very important. Very few internal auditors cover social media review. Email, what to write, what not to write on. Many people will write about their companies, things on social media, on emails. So this is also very important because that carries the reputation of company. And if that gets damaged, even for a couple of days, it's harm very bad reputation and it affects not only the reputation but the capital of the company. And it takes a very good time to recoup the same. So there are many more such non-conventional areas which management, but my experience, it is very highly appreciated. A kind of issues and the observation come. This is well accepted by the management, and they encourage us to do more and more non-conventional audit than doing definitely conventional audits. Thank you.
So as rightly mentioned by Chetan bhai, so the expectations are very different now. So we have seen the paradigm shift from what internal audit was a couple of decades ago and what it is right now. So there are so much of financial complexities, there are so much of cyber threats that the expertise is required for each and every kind of a review. So I will share a personal experience with you all. So like when we were doing a capex audit for one of the life insurance. So out of the capex audit, so there were a lot of expenses which were being reviewed, and the question was whether the capex which has been incurred, whether that has been reviewed. Like say for example, in a branch there is a renovation going on, or there is a new branch development, because NBFCs life insurance come up with the branches on a very regular basis. So the expenses incurred were being approved by the procurement team as well as the administration team. So whether the expenses claimed by the vendor were as per the BOQ, and as per the BOQ plan, whether the items which have been claimed in the BOQ, the quality of the glass, the quality of the wire, the quality of the copper wire, everything, even the branded ACs or whatever it is. So whether who has gone and verified into that particular branch. So the answer was no one has reviewed that. So there was no audit person. But then the expectation was whether we as a internal auditors or a chartered accountants are able to do this kind of a review in terms of the technical part. So we hired engineers for this specific purpose for the project. And then when the engineers visited and then we verified, so there were a cost savings of 7 to 8 lakhs per branch. So this kind of like a material was 10 mm width का glass बोले उधर glass लगा है but 2 mm width का है. So the quality really differs. So that is the expectation right now from the I will say the companies, from the internal auditors, that they need expertise. They just don't need accountants.
And also just continuing with this, another risk that is now upcoming and a lot of companies are facing is a third-party vendor risk. Today's date, who you partner with, आप कौन सा vendor appoint कर रहे हो अपने काम के लिए, that is also very important. Your vendor का financial stability, उसका background check, plus उसका ESG score. I mean, आप आज की डेट में imports करो versus there is a vendor who is in local market. Obviously, आपका imports is preferred from a quality perspective, but ESG scoring is makes it more important to buy from a local vendor. So next generation is more about climate change sustainability. So climate change itself, and I being from a real estate sector, for us climate change and the impact of the buildings on the climate is becoming so much more important. That is the next level of risk that is getting assessed. Even in enterprise risk management, and जो आपका sustainability report है, जो mandatory आपका business responsibility report जाता है annual reports में, plus for the bigger companies, listed companies, there is a mandatory sustainability report also you have to publish. So in all of these factors, climate change is becoming the next more important, and the third party vendors, उनका climate unka sustainability parameters is also becoming equally more important. From that perspective, even women, you supporting women businesses, that is going to give you more points in sustainability. And even investors for that matter look into these kind of aspects कि अच्छा आपका company का sustainability score क्या है, उसके basis पे even foreign investors will invest in you. So this is becoming another important area of where more value addition can be done. This is something that people overlook. मतलब आज की डेट में if procurement team है वो सिर्फ ये देखे कि अच्छा इस L1 वेंडर कौन सा है, मैं कॉन्ट्रैक्ट L1 वेंडर को दूंगा. अब L1 बनने के लिए हो सकता है आज की डेट में वो वेंडर आपको कॉस्ट काट के लोएस्ट कॉस्ट दे देगा, बट डज ही हैव द डिलीवरी कैपेबिलिटी टू डू दैट? That is something that a lot of people overlook in the audit, but that is becoming more and more critical. Today's date, vendors go bankrupt. And when they go bankrupt, या तो आपको financially उनको support करना ही पड़ेगा so that your project continues. Because if you do not support him and you get a new vendor, that is even more risk. Because आपकी building का आधा एक जन ने किया है, आधा एक जन ने किया है, पूरा accountability किसी का है ही नहीं. And the new vendor will never take accountability of the old work. So that is becoming a growing risk for at least the real estate and construction sector. So these are a lot of new pointers which are coming into picture, and that's the reason background check of a vendor before appointing him, plus आपका कितना उसके ऊपर dependency है, how easily can you replace him if he goes bankrupt, that is becoming more and more critical. But a lot of these things get overlooked by the business people, they get overlooked by a lot of auditors as well. But this is something that they are expecting now more and more from us. This is where more value addition comes into picture.
Coming to the third main thing about internal audit. Internal audit में मेरे हिसाब से लास्ट 10-15 साल से कभी ऑडिट हो गया और उसके बाद में कुछ प्रॉब्लम भी हुआ तो ऑडिटर्स ऑलवेज यूज्ड टू से मेरे सैंपल में नहीं आया, राइट? आप आज के दिन में लेकिन अगर आप आपके एंगेजमेंट लेटर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट रिपोर्ट में भी आप लिख लो कि हम रीजनेबल एश्योरेंस देंगे, बट मैनेजमेंट क्लाइंट सबको पता है कि मेरे को तो पूरा एश्योरेंस चाहिए, है ना? तो ये जो जर्नी है रीजनेबल एश्योरेंस टू एब्सोल्यूट एश्योरेंस और सैंपल बेस्ड टू एम्पल ऑडिट, इसके लिए आई थिंक आपका ऑर्गेनाइजेशन या आपकी जो जर्नी रही है, आप इसको कैसे अप्रोच कर रहे हैं, आई थिंक उस पर अगर आप अपना पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू देंगे.
Okay, so I think the word sample to ample itself is, a big expectation change. But it is not always possible to achieve that sample to ample. And like Murtuza bhai said, अगर हम पूरा यूनिवर्स कवर करने जाएंगे तो 6 हफ्ते का एफर्ट 6 महीने का हो जाएगा, which is not the most cost effective ways. But I think obviously in today's day, data analytics, RPA, AI, these things are using these things, you can actually try to achieve this aspect. But if still, the focus has to be on Pareto analysis. I mean, that's something that we in our profession have been using. The 80-20 rule. After 80% of the risk is covered in 20% of the volume and value. So you have to focus first on that 20% of items. बाकी का जो 80% है, उसमें से आप random sample अगर select करोगे, I think you're more or less covered. But that 20% has to be managed pretty well. मतलब उसमें आप full focus के साथ में अगर काम करेंगे, तो आपका 80% of risks will be covered in that aspect only. So that 80-20 rule, I think, is something that always works, and at least it has worked for me. That you focus on the 80% of, 20% of high value items, high risk items, and the remaining 80% may say minor sample if you pick up, you're almost there to cover, cover the expectations of the CEOs and CFOs.
Just a moment. Anyone with this car MH02CL2201, it is parked at the wrong side. I'm repeating the number MH02CL220.
So, in continuation to what Meghna said, so there is a lot of debate when I attend severe other forums also, ki reasonable assurance and near to reasonable assurance and everything. What Murtuza also very deep, explained in a very detailed manner. तो अभी बेसिकली क्या हो रहा है कि जो एक AI, RPA, टूल्स ये सब जो आ रहे हैं, एवरी वी ऑल आर जम्बल्ड एंड हम सोच रहे हैं कि यार ये भी करते हैं वो भी करते हैं. सो द शिफ्ट जो मैंने पैराडाइम शिफ्ट जैसे बोला था, सो पहले हम ऐसे करते थे कि पॉपुलेशन से सैंपल पे जाते थे, अब वो फिर से रिवर्स चले गए, अब हम पूरा पॉपुलेशन करते हैं बिकॉज ऑफ द थैंक्स टू AI एंड एवरीथिंग. बट लाइक आई डोंट नो कितनों ने AI अपने ICAI का, देयर इज अ वंडरफुल कोर्स ऑफ AI, आई डोंट नो हाउ मेनी हैव डन इट, आई डिड पर्सनली. तो उसमें इट्स नॉट ऑल अबाउट AI बट व्हाट यू आर फीडिंग, इट्स ऑल गार्बेज इन गार्बेज आउट. सो हमको क्या चाहिए वो हमको बोलना आना चाहिए. So AI, these all tools will certainly help you to come to a nearby reasonable assurance and everything. But AI will never be able to replace the professional expertise. So that is very important. So एक जो professional judgment हम लेते हैं basis the sample, और जो भी decision लेते हैं, so the decision needs to be in a very reasonable manner using this technology. So it's a combination. So we can't always say कि technology लेके भी हम 100% we will give a assurance. So even if there is a कई बार clients बोलते हैं तो ये technology तो हमको 100% assurance मिलेगा. No, still we can't, because the technology will never replace the professional expertise. Over to Chetan bhai for more inputs.
No. I think rightfully covered by both of them, and Murtuza bhai rightfully said, we as an internal auditor cannot give absolute assurance. We can only give reasonable assurance and limited assurance. Now coming to the technology, we are talking AI, we are talking robotics process, we are talking machine learning. See, we are supposed to be assurance and the control experts. Okay, we understand system, process, control method. I'm sure we have to, what is required and the need of the internal audit, we have to embrace this technology used in the company. You need not to be expert in MI, you need not to be expert in RPA. Say in my company, we have a global business solution which during all my verticals processing happen, maybe procurement, maybe for HR, payroll. So we need to understand, having using this technology by robotics or AI, what kind of risk, whether there are right side of control, inputs are going rightfully. Because if input goes wrong or wrong master getting into, everything goes wrong. So you being a subject expert, continue to be in your domain and understand from the assessment from control and risk coming out of those technology being used. You did not to operate those RPA, you did not to operate those MI. So these are a very set of fancy words which coming from a Western world to us. I'm not saying this is not important. You cannot afford not to do this. You cannot overlook this. But you have to embrace that, understand the control embedded among them, and what kind of risk if something wrong will say false positive. So garbage in, garbage out. So it is very important. Embrace that, understand control and from risk perspective. You do not to be expert into this way. So don't carry away by the very glossy or buzzword about these things. So please embrace on that. You do not to be a expert, subject matter expert into this technology. That's what I want to just add on.
मेरा जस्ट एक डिफरेंट थोड़ा सा पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू था. बाकी कंट्रीज में है ना SAP का डेटा या ERP का डेटा की एक स्टैंडर्ड क्वालिटी होती है. मैं जनरली मेरे क्लाइंट को बोलते हैं इंडिया में सबका अपना SAP है, किसको क्या कॉलम में क्या इसमें क्या भरना है, सबने अपना अपना भरा है. तो आई थिंक अगर आप पूरा पॉपुलेशन भी देख रहे हो, शायद आज के 5-7 साल पहले मैनेजमेंट या बोर्ड को चलता था अगर आपने SAP की रिपोर्ट निकाल के ERP की रिपोर्ट निकाल के आपने एक्सेल एनालिटिक्स कर ली. बट इंडिया में जो सच्चाई होती है ना ट्रांजैक्शन की, वो अंडरलाइन डॉक्यूमेंट्स में होते हैं जो आपके पास PDF है या फोटोज़ है. तो आई थिंक जब तक आपके पास आप वो टेक्नोलॉजी यूज़ नहीं करो जहाँ आप ये PDF और ये फोटोज़ पे भी आपके एनालिटिक्स चल सके, तब तक आपको खुद को भी एश्योरेंस नहीं आएगा और आपको एश्योरेंस दे भी नहीं पाओगे. तो आई थिंक जहाँ ये टेक्नोलॉजी हम यूज़ कर रहे हैं तो वो टेक्नोलॉजी की भी उतनी ज़रूरत है यूज़ करने की. कमिंग टू जो फोर्थ एक क्वेश्चन में टच करना चाहता था कि इंटरनल ऑडिट एज अ डिपार्टमेंट का भी एक जर्नी हुई है. एक टाइम पे इंटरनल ऑडिट से एक्सपेक्टेशन या एक व्यू पॉइंट होता था कि ये कॉस्ट सेंटर है ना, बट ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम ऐसा है कि इंटरनल ऑडिट से एक्सपेक्टेशन ये है कि अपना खर्चा निकाले, प्रॉफिट सेंटर बने और थोड़ा मैनेजमेंट को भी रिटर्न दें, राइट? आप लोग एज अ पैनलिस्ट आपकी भी यही लर्निंग हुई है और हुई है, तो आप लोग ने इसको कैसे एब्जॉर्ब किया है, इंक्लूडिंग अगर आपके पास प्रैक्टिकल एग्जांपल है कोई अच्छे कॉस्ट सेविंग के, तो आप हमारे ऑडियंस के साथ शेयर कर सकते हैं।
Okay, I think Sachin rightfully said so. I'm into the internal audit almost close to 3 decades, as I told you earlier. And when I joined JSW 10 years before, we have an actual cost saving target of 200 crore. We, the team of 40 people, used to spend more than 200. So if the cost is 20, we have to make it 10x. And this is a part and parcel of our PMS. And which is true as on today also. But the value has come down to 100 crore now. Because over the years things have streamlined and these things. So, but yes, now if you in a practical manner, if you really want to earn the seat on a management meeting, you need to create a profit center as an internal audit. Apart from our assurance and audit role, you have to announce now your consulting and advisory role, because cost saving fall under consulting and this role. We do a lot of cost saving. I may give you example if time permits. Let them first share it, and I will share some cost saving practical live examples.
I think कोई भी बिजनेस ऐसा नहीं होगा जहाँ पर वो बोलेगा कि I will pay you and I will not recover back. So every organization, when they appoint an internal audit team, their expectation is that you will fulfill the compliance, but you will also help achieve some cost savings or in some way or the other. I mean, अगर आप process re-engineering करते हैं and that process is saving you a lot of manpower and man hours of work, that itself is also a cost saving. So there are a lot of ways to perceive what is cost saving, but as an internal audit team, अगर आप bill verification ही ले लें as a key aspect या procurement as a key aspect, so you will understand that there are a lot of points where you can save cost by identifying duplicate invoices. आज की डेट में India is known for जुगाड़, so teams manage to do जुगाड़ even in booking duplicate invoices. आप कितना ही सिस्टम में लॉजिक बिठा लीजिए कि अच्छा डुप्लीकेट चेक होगा, ये सब होगा, but teams by just adding one extra space in the invoice number, they will make sure that आपका duplicate invoice book हो ही जाएगा. So all of these are ways and means of doing जुगाड़, but you have to be more smarter and you have to make sense that अच्छा मैं कैसे उसको analyze करूँ. So today's date fuzzy logic is something that you have, you identify duplicate के chances कहाँ पर हैं, and then you review those kind of cases in your sample. So these kind of analytics, like again, fuzzy logic is nothing but a robotic process automation where it gives you indicators that these are your possible fake or duplicate invoices. So this is where your cost saving goes back to the company. Even like I said, from a contract review perspective, your contract review, and after a 10-year stint with Oberoi, I moved to a procurement support function because they thought that being an internal audit, we could have made sense that हम ये पहले ही रोक दें. Before the contract goes out, we have a review of the contract terms. And I'll give you example कि contract terms भी कभी-कभी कैसे exploit होते हैं, because not a lot of people read those. And आपका एक project कुछ कर रहा है, दूसरा project कुछ और कर रहा है, because the terms are not consistent. So you lose out on the benefits. And being in construction industry and चेतन भाई JSW स्टील में है, तो उनको तो पता होगा कि स्टील प्रोक्योरमेंट में अगर आपका एक वॉल्यूम अचीव होता है, तो there is a volume based discount that is given back to the company which procures steel. But this is a very fine print line in the contract, and not a lot of people know that ये आपके contract में exist करता है. So you have to make sure कि आप procurement team से ये समझे कि किस level पे होगा. This has to be communicated to the person who is placing orders and make sure that आपका वो target turnover achieve हो, ताकि आपको वो cost benefit मिल सके. And for a construction company, when you procure steel, that is like 40% of your input. तो उसका जो आपका cost benefit volume discount आता है, that is big in numbers. So that is one of the things. Even cement for that matter. आपका cement आपने एक कंपनी को ऑर्डर दिया हुआ है, उसने अपना कमिटमेंट फुलफिल नहीं किया, बट उसने बाहर से एक्स्ट्रा दूसरे प्लांट से आपको लाके सीमेंट दिया, बट द रेट दैट ही चार्ज वाज डिफरेंट. उसके कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में लिखा हुआ है कि मिनिमम डे का कमिटमेंट ये है, इसमें वही रेट पे मिलेगा आपको, चाहे वो बाहर वाले प्लांट से उसको सप्लाई करना पड़े. बट वो नहीं कर पाया और उसने because the billing team did not know about these finer contract clauses, they exploited it and उन्होंने एक्स्ट्रा पैसा चार्ज किया. So ऐसे बहुत सारे instances in regular life also happens, not necessarily because it's a fraud, but it is also because the person who is doing the billing does not know the finer points in the contract. So these are all a lot of nuances which the internal auditors can get on the table, the legal and the contracting reading stuff. So this is something I think also something a value add that we can get on the table, and that's the reason the focus on becoming a profit center. So as and when you keep on adding, every team likes to add on कि हाँ मैंने इतना profit saving किया, which means मेरे job को कोई खतरा नहीं है. Because internal audits, external teams are also there to do the audits, and everybody will keep competing. So you need to be a lot more sharper. So that's it. Thank you.
So as Chetan bhai and Meghna rightly mentioned, since they come from the industry background, so profit save करेंगे तो उनका नौकरी खतरे में नहीं है. We as an external consultants, हम कुछ अच्छा दिखाएंगे तो हमारा renewal पक्का है. So basically, profit center, of course, yes, but internal auditors, as I told, the expectations, there are a lot of expectations from internal audit. So many of the time, it's not only identifying the cost optimization, but also identifying revenue leakages. ये सब part हमारे internal audit में cover होना चाहिए. Like there are also in terms of how we go from manual to automation. That is also kind of a recommendation which is expected. Third is in terms of, as I will continue my example which I conveyed earlier for the civil part. So like वहाँ पे the companies what they do is they will release only 75% of the payment to the contractor. And till the time they receive a certified report from us, the balance 25 is not released. And जो adjustment करना है वो उसी में होता है, and that is the saving which the company really has. So many of the companies now are coming with a new word, time and motion study. How you can, effectively, I will say, re-engineer the entire process in terms of how you can utilize each and every person who is involved into the particular process. So this naya concept है time and motion, which is now coming up every now and then, which I take advice from Murtuza. I learned basically from him that. So these are all the kind of the things. So if we really put as a consultant, so then we are assured of our renewals. Now, Chetan bhai's examples are, I think.
Just I'll quickly take a couple of examples of cost saving, but what we have done in JSW, I think I'll take it from her. She talk about cement. See, we are into energy business, and I will take this example from my thermal business, which is, say, my plant is in Barmer, thermal business. So once I walked out taking a round of the plant, I understand we use a coal to pump on the boiler, and what comes residual, it is called fly ash. Fly ash below to rock, and fly ash is basically the major raw material for cement business. So what was happening when I visited, I saw around every day, per day, fly ash generation was 3,500 metric ton, and they used to, because of the environment issue and under that fear, they used to sell it free of charge to the cement companies or dump into the alongside the line. I said, boss, for cement, why are you giving? I understand it's an environment issue. You cannot afford to keep for a quite long point of time. They have rightfully said it is an environment issue, but at the same time, that is the major raw material for a cement. Say, like every 2 kg of fly ash, you will able to make 1 kg of cement. So that's a major most. I will say 80 to 85% for a cement company, and we used to pay, we sell them free of cost. So I was wondering, I came back to head office, I spoke to my boss. The boss, why are we selling? Because their entire business of cement is based on fly ash. In the pretext of your environment issue, why are you at least make them charge 50 rupees, 100 rupees a ton? He said, boss, you are a new, you don't know, so you will create an issue for us. Somehow still I had not convinced. I went to my director of operation. The boss was not convinced, so I said, sir, can we make attempt this? So without that, like Swiss Cement was at ACC in that area, for the north area, why are you doing so? At least you can make an attempt to charge them 50 rupees, because without that they will not able to run their industry. If anyway you are not charging them, and if you charge them, if you will ask them if you don't charge, anyway we are back to square. At least take an attempt. So at least I could able to convince my director of operation of that thermal business, and then he mandated the plant to charge 50 rupees. So now as on today we are selling after the 7-8 years 350 per metric ton, and this observation I have opted for a barman, and we understand risk management enterprise level. So we have plant in Vijayanagar, Ratnagiri, Dolvi and here. So now combined revenue is more than 50 crore on year basis. So this has become a recurring cost saving. Earlier, because see, accepting cost because management knows better than us, because he is sitting on that plant for 20-30 years. I just walked down for a 15 days to audit. So they will not able to get that convinced. So you have to walk extra mile to get that cost saving. So I am very proudly say now this has become 50 crore cost saving for my thermal business on year. It's not a one-time cost saving. Now come to the other example. See, I have got an energy plant in Ratnagiri. Again, that's a thermal plant. And I got my cement plant in called Dolvi, which is just 30 kilometers from Panvel. So Panvel we have a cement plant. Ratnagiri we have energy plant. So what has happened? Ratnagiri used to sell the energy to my cement plant. And you all know energy is exempted from GST. So they used to sell us 6 rupees per megawatt per AW to my electricity to cement. So what has happened when I went for review and I reviewed this arrangement, I said, boss, he is paying GST because to generate energy he has to pump coal. For that he is paying GST, who energy, and then composite integrated value we are charging to group company cement at 6 rupees per megawatt. I said, can we change the arrangement? Why don't, in spite of he supplying me, we change the arrangement? Why don't we do a job work? So I suggested, I came back to head office, again talked to my boss. He said, okay Chetan, we talk to the group audit taxation head, whether this can be done. So we have break down this supply of energy into two parts. So coal procurement will be done by the cement, because cement gets the GST input tax credit. So we said, we will supply you coal, you generate energy and send it to us. So by that time, then we used to get GST input tax credit in cement, which was otherwise being wasted because energy will never able to claim it. So again same thing, as I follow enterprise risk management, same arrangement, I have 8 cement plants. So we take benefit and we are now saving every year 40 to 45 crore on a recurring basis on this GST benefit. So you have to, sometimes we are very near to the cost saving, but we have to walk extra mile. Management will not easily, you have to then make them convince, buying, get them on our page and then see that, and then that is how it's basically ultimately, I think Sachin has rightfully said, today's management is definitely you do procurement audit or you do fixed asset audit, APAR audit. They are happy, I have done well on that audit, okay good Chetan, you have done all verticals, you have done everything. Unless I bring value, I think somehow they also and we also getting satisfaction, boss, we have delivered. So they want at the end of the day you to bring value to the table. Board is happy, management is happy, certainly we are happy, because ultimately it is not happy, making happy management and board, it is going to add we as auditors our ICAI. I always call this add your ICAI. So that is helping your intellectual property to enhance the value, and it makes, because satisfaction sometimes you more, then you become a successful. I think 2 examples are enough. In the work of time. We have 200 crore target every year.
पैसा बचाओगे तो मालिक आपको पैसे देगा।
उसी वजह से 10 साल से टिका हुआ हूँ, because in industry and in practice you all agree growth से difficult है sustain होना, and today's to sustain itself is a bigger challenge. Growing comes later on.
Again internal audit function में एक टाइम पे आई थिंक जब मैंने चालू किया था शायद हम 50-60% चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट थे, है ना। एंड जो भी क्लाइंट को पूछो अगर आपको ऑडिट मैंडेट चाहिए, ऑडिट करवाना है, क्लाइंट यही पूछता था मेरे इधर सीए आएगा या नहीं, कितने एक्सपीरियंस का सीए आएगा। वो एक कमिटमेंट देना पड़ता था तब जाके काम चालू होता। बट अब जैसे जैसे टेक्नोलॉजी चेंज हुई है, टेक्नोलॉजी बढ़ रही है, इवन हर एक के डिपार्टमेंट में कौन कौन से अलग एक्सपीरियंस, अलग बैकग्राउंड के लोग आ रहे हैं। आई एम नॉट श्योर आपके डिपार्टमेंट में वो चेंजेस हुए होंगे। सो ऑल्सो वांटेड टू टच बेस कि आज के दिन में अगर हम कोई परसेंटेज वाइज देखें आपके टीम में या आपकी फर्म में, तो क्या परसेंटेज के चार्टर्ड अकाउंट, कितने लोग चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट होंगे, कितने लोग डिफरेंट बैकग्राउंड के होंगे। अगेन लुकिंग फ्रॉम अ कॉस्ट ऑफ डिलीवरी पर्सपेक्टिव ऑल्सो, यानी क्योंकि ग्रेजुएट से वो सीखना चाहते हैं, MBA फ्रेशर्स है, MBA इंटर्न्स है, वो आएंगे।
Sachin, before coming to one question, I have one question for all my friends here. What is the biggest limitation for any intern auditor? Accountability is one major most limitation that intern auditor has. Can anybody help me? I definitely certainly come back to you because this is related to your question. What is the major most limitation for any intern auditor? See, we are not stretch auditor. We don't have like Caro set of 20-25 questions and job is done. Here, the world, the sky is limit. Yeah.
Management's backing.
Yeah, that is, yes. I'm saying, from my perspective, I'll come back to you, but what you said is right. If management is not serious about it, that is our job basically. See, no management is going to take what you give them. You have to make them buy in. I've given 2 examples. I know it was how difficult. I took 6 months to convince these 2 examples, and now this has become a system. I don't have to do anything. I have taken enough efforts during my initial days when I started my journey with JSW. So, management buying, see, because we as our level, I spend 90% of time to the management, handle CFO, CEO, executive management, CMO, CEO, JMD, MD, and board. So, that is more important PR. So, that is, I will say, a skill set required. That is not limitation. What you said is, sir, that is a skill set. We as intern auditor, we have to have a skill set to buy, how you can buy smartly to your management. Anybody else would like to, I would love to hear from this audience. What is the major most limitation? No, team size is, I have a 40 people team and I am doing 70% outsourced. I do 1200 audits. Out of 40, 4 or 5 are team leaders like me. One is a big boss and others do audit. So it cannot be done 1200 audit by 30-35 people. So we take help from like firm like Trivedi and others. That is not limitation. Either you increase your team or you outsource to the subject matter experts and take help as a, they are our extended family. That is what I always say that. Anybody, even to my panelists, I would love to hear.
Expectation is scope and commerce.
Expectations?
Scope versus commerce. Commercial terms are not that visible for the even chartered accountant that they can afford to meet a lot of expectation of the management.
No, so you have to be very clear and you have to be very professional. See, before you accept the assignment, you should be very clear. Once you accept the assignment, see, if he accepted my assignment for 10 lakh, and then he should not cry entire year saying, boss, 10 lakh mein ye to nahi hoga. And you should have not attended. You should have not taken. You should have done enough diligence before attending it. Once you take the assignment, don't creep on money, please. As an industry, I will not accept from my practicing friends this. But you say, boss, I cannot work below 20 lakhs. You be clear on your terms. But once you accept, do best to your scope. One should not flip over the fees, please. It should be done at the start of the negotiation and scope acceptance. Anybody? Murtuza bhai, subject matter expert. Over to my panelist. Answer is very simple. I will say everybody will surprise. This is so simple. Chetan was asking and repeating, but it has not came to our mind. Anybody? I am sure this you will remember throughout your life in the journey of intern audit practice. A very simple answer. What is the major limitation for we as intern auditors? Anybody? Or you? Anyone? Should I say?
I think ability to understand technology effectively and also ability to communicate and present to the management.
Chalo friends, let me open the secret now. Answer is very simple. limitation to any auditor is his knowledge of that business. Say example, I will give you an example and I will prove it what I am saying. Your limitation is your knowledge. If I have been sent to Singapore, Singapore is doing derivative trading. If I don't have a knowledge of derivative, do you think I will be able to review that? If I am going to do a civil, going for my project, which is specialized mechanized project or having a lot of civil activity project, I don't have that engineering knowledge. So sky is limit for me, but if I don't gain that knowledge in that subject, I cannot do anything. So knowledge is, yes, you should have that knowledge of business. If you fail to have that, you will, that's why your major most. Now coming to your question. My question. Yeah, so he rightfully said, days have gone where only chartered accountants are doing internal audit. In my team, I was certified internal auditors, I have certified fraud examiners, I have certified ISAs, DSAs, I have engineers in my team, I have cyber security experts in my team, and some projects, like if I have to review the POSH policy, if I don't have that skill set, or if I am reviewing the project insurance, I don't have a skill set, I outsource to the subject matter experts. So days have gone, only chartered accountants, no, MBAs in the team. So it's a very good match and mix, because business is not, we are maybe expert in control, finance, but the other things we require other experts like engineers, cyber security. I may not be having that skill, but definitely within a team we learn that over the time. But we need a proper mix of professionals within a team who can carry a integratedly.
So I think Chetan bhai is very well said that we as internal auditors lack the business. So and what Sachin said that 50-60% of the team used to be chartered accountants. But trust me, chartered accountants can be really quickly replaced in internal audit, especially because internal audit is not about numbers anymore. It's not about financial risks. Financial risks are covered by statutory auditors more, but internal audit is more about strategic insights now. How we can help the management in achieving their business goals. It's more about they don't have the bandwidth to run around every pillar and post. So they need those strategic advisors who can, work with each of the departments and help them, build up that organization which is prepared for all the business opportunities. And trust me, I have had these interactions with our promoters. A promoter never thinks about risks. A promoter will always think about business opportunities. They feel that every risk comes with an equally enticing opportunity. So we as internal auditors need to balance the risks with the opportunities. How can we manage the risks to achieve the opportunities that the management is looking at? So the first primary thing which comes with it is to understand the business. How well do you understand the nuances of each and every department? Obviously, as chartered accountants, we have not been trained to, do that. But I think there is no stopping us from interacting with the business heads, interacting with the departments, even the junior most person of the department who is doing that work activity. And it's pretty simple to just talk to them and get the details from them. And you will really believe it only takes common sense to talk to them and understand the details, and rest is all. You put it like if you are running the business. Just put on the entrepreneurial hat, and if you think from that perspective, trust me, anybody can become an internal auditor. So I feel that's one of the reasons why CAs are, today growingly, there are a mix of people in the internal audit teams. It is, for every area. So you need a sustainability expert, you need a data scientist and data analytics, because like we are discussing that a lot of audit is now going to be driven by bots, they are going to be driven by data analytics, but you need someone to write those codes. So that is a new skill set that is required in an internal audit team. From a construction perspective, we hire project civil engineers, architects, and how do you read those project execution? So even cost savings can come with you analyze your design. The biggest cost saving comes from value engineering, which is through reading of the design, what is required in the design. Am I using the same design inputs as the structural consultant has given? So there is a mix of skill set you require. You need someone who can understand HR. You need someone who can understand procurement and negotiations. You need someone legally expert to understand the contracts. You need someone who has IT background to understand the software. You need someone who understands the automation risks. So it is like a completely different world out there. And I think we need to keep learning. We need to keep analyzing new things. We need to keep on our toes to understand the business and the newer technologies that are coming as a part of it. So I think we as chartered accountants also need to start understanding business much more to be in this profession and continuing it in the way it is expected out of us.
So, as rightly mentioned by Meghna, in terms of the continual learning, so internal audit, as rightly mentioned, is not only the game of chartered accountants. Like when I as an external consultant, so I have a blend of CAs, CIAs, MBA finance, even engineers, because we do a lot of engineering audit. And then comes the InfoSec. So InfoSec, we can't do any IT audit. And then as a consultant, we really need to keep a bandwidth of people because we can't lose this kind of an opportunities. So there are two things. We look at it as a professional opportunity also. So, as she mentioned, we need to get ourselves updated. Yesterday I was with one of my clients and we all belong into the same age group. So we thought we were just having a joke till the age of 40, we were all struggling in the corporate ladder only to be replaced by AI. So it's not about that. So how we keep ourselves well versed in the AI field, how we keep ourselves well versed in the recent kind of an updations. And internal audit is not only about the kind of a process we do, it's the right mindset and attitude. As she mentioned, the entrepreneurial hat. So when I started my career in internal audit, my first employer, my first mentor was Mr. Naren Aneja. So when he took my interview and I told him, sir, मुझे internal audit के बारे में कुछ इतना idea नहीं है. So he told to client place पे जाके ऐसे समझ कि तेरा धंधा है. And then you will learn internal audit automatically. So he has given me that kind of input on the first day of my work. So that I still carry with me. So it's all about the right mindset, attitude. Chartered accountants, we have that kind of an ability and we have the capability or ability to sense the pulse of the organization. So CIA, CA, whether you're a CISA, doesn't matter. The right mindset and attitude will really matter. But yes, from the technical side, we can't do any kind of a technical audits in terms of when it comes to engineering and all. So they have to be a part of your team.
Just taking a clue from Amit bhai, Narendra, what you said. I have one more question to my friends over here. We talk about knowledge as a limitation. To become a good internal auditor, a single word you have to just answer. A prerequisite to a successful auditor. A prerequisite to become a successful auditor. In one word. Happy to hear.
Inquisitiveness.
Huh?
Inquisitiveness.
1000%. This was my answer. Very nice to hear. Yeah. So this is what I say my son every time. You need to be an inquisitive mind. If you want to be a successful internal auditor, you should be inquisitive. A questioning mind. How to do, when to do. It's available everything on Google. But to understand logical understanding of that, you need to clear that why concept of that subject. May it be anything. So to be a successful auditor, may it be technology, may it be operation, may it be finance, reporting, IFC. What all it comes under the umbrella of audit. As a good auditor, be inquisitive mind, never satisfied, keep question and don't stop. Walk always some extra miles. Because the issues always lies. Because most of the time we walk a lot, but we fail to walk little more where exact problem lies. So please do extra miles and be an inquisitive mind. That's the message for me.
ये लास्ट क्वेश्चन था बट चेतन भाई ने जो बोला उस पर थोड़े साल पहले जब मैं मेरी टीम के साथ बैठता हूँ तो जनरली मैं उनको वही बोलता हूँ कि डेटा सबके पास है, डेटा के साथ क्या करना है, आई थिंक वो इम्पोर्टेंट है इंटरनल ऑडिट के लिए, है ना। और जितनी टेक्नोलॉजी है जो है वो लार्जली सब आ गई है, इन्वेंशन हो गए हैं, वो इन्वेंशन को आप ऑडिट में कैसे यूज़ करोगे, आई थिंक वो सीखना ज़रूरी है ना। वही एक आई थिंक इम्पॉर्टेंट सोल्यूशन है टू बिकम अ वेरी सक्सेसफुल इंटरनल ऑडिटर। हैविंग सेड दिस, नाउ द रिक्वेस्ट इज, अगर आपके पास कोई क्वेश्चंस है, टेक एडवांटेज ऑफ द एक्सपीरियंस दैट इज सिटिंग ऑन द स्टेज। अगर आपके पास कोई क्वेश्चंस है तो वी विल बी हैप्पी टू टेक दोस।
I think there is 100 years of wisdom is sitting here. Putting we follow those together, we have 100 plus years of experience in internal audit. So happy to hear even the best practice, something you would like to share, not the question. Even other side, something we would also love to hear some best practice. Yeah, please sir, over to you.
Sir, you are all very senior people in internal audit. I would like to ask you one question. Impromptu. This has happened with me in 2000. I beg to differ with you with due respect to one thing that you said.
Please, I would love to.
Knowledge of business is important.
Certainly.
Well, that's one part, but that is passé. And that is passé according to me in 2000. My first job was with CC Toxi.
Okay.
Okay, and I am not an auditor. I joined CC Toxi to learn audit. I did it with sole proprietors. I learned exposure to big corporates, listed companies. But what I learned from WIRC India, my first job after leaving CC Toxi, this was way back in Bombay riots. आगे पीछे स्टैंड वाली सिक्योरिटी गाड़ी बोरीवली से नावा सेवा पोर्ट.
Okay.
What WIRC taught me is in just 9 months, I used it as a fuel to propel myself. Unfortunately, I was not, those days, 35 years back, we were not so much of a brand conscious profession. We just worked, and as you rightly said, you have to add value engineering to the business. That's the only reason. Forget in internal audit in every field.
Absolutely.
That every CA does. What WIRC taught me in 9 months, I could use it to fuel my career for 17 years, and with a lot of humility, let me tell you what are my engagements that I have worked. I was not lucky to have got a nice Indian employer. I unfortunately work for multinational employers. So the multinational culture is very different. Use Pro. Use Extract Pro. And let me tell you who are my employers. First, Baba Williams and Lines. I knew nothing about shipping. I could add value. I knew nothing about trucking. I could add value. I knew nothing about container business. I could add value. I knew nothing about cargo shipping agents. I could add value to the world's biggest shipping corporations. So I beg to differ with you completely that you need to know knowledge of business. So if you have an inquisitive sense of mind and you want to add value to the client, you are up your career path. 1, 2. I knew nothing about government. I signed the Mumbai-Pune Expressway way back in 2001, India's first expressway. I knew nothing about how to deal with government bureaucracy. I signed 4 sections of Mumbai-Pune Expressway. It's a challenging job. I can assure you, with all 100 years experience here, okay, and I respect my fellow CAs who work for the government. Of course, they have to do a lot of yes-manship to survive. They don't have to prove their intellectual prowess because they require a different set of skills. But I agree with what Meghna said. You have to continuously add value to the client to be able to survive. Now this very important practical question to all of you. Sir, if Taj Group of Hotels is giving a bill discounting, I mean on a credit card acceptance, a commission of 1.7% to Citibank, I'm talking of year 1998. How would the Taj Group turnover we all know was there in those days more than 1,400 crores. Indian Group, Indian Hotels Company Limited. For a new client who expected me from this shipping background, he said, "ये काम मेरे लिए करोगे?" I said, "करेंगे." कितना पैसा चाहिए? 30% more चलेगा. Very happy. Young, everybody loves money. I said, "Only one condition." Now I am going for an employment. I said, "Only one condition." You're shocked to hear it. नौकरी मेरे पास करेगा, कंडीशन पूछ रहा है. I said, I give you what you want, you give me what I want. No interference, no micromanagement. You give me the target when you want it, I deliver it before the target. One condition, no micromanagement. Your team, I will not add any external consultants. And I was able to do it. 1.7% credit card acceptance rate. Citibank with Indian Group of Hotels. With the same person, Citibank, we were dealing, he was charging us 2.6%. एक साल के अंदर I could twist Citibank, Singapore, and they gave me a rate of 1.1, and now the rate is how much, you know? And this is a listed company in India. I would not name it. Now the rate is 0.8%, and they are a developed client now. So we have gems in the profession. Rekha Zamankar is one of them. When I see you, I see a lot of Rekha in you. I don't know whether you know her or not. She's a gem in the forensic. There are so many gems. I have been always telling our council members, regional council members, they all know me. So why don't we publish a book? There is so much of intellectual prowess. It's going with all of us into the grave. Your experiences matter a lot. But they matter to whom? Not to you or me. They matter to the next generation, sir. Unfortunately, nobody in the institute, I have talked to Arpit, I have talked to Murtuza, they all know me, I am an infamously famous person in the profession. Because I talk blunt. We are not supposed to sugar sweet ourselves. We are supposed to be blunt. That is the first requisite of our profession. Be independent. You do be independent when you want to be always there. I am sorry if, sir, how will you do this? Tell me, how would I have managed it? 2.6% to 1.1%. कैसे किया होगा? सोचो.
I'm not getting it. See, I'm just wanted to.
So if you accept credit cards, Citibank charges 2.6%. 6 महीने के अंदर उसको 1.1% मिला है. He is saying you are charged. Don't leak this secret to Indian Group. Incidentally, company secretary of Indian Hotels was my schoolmate. I told him, उधर से आ गया. Singapore comes running to my office. Citibank Singapore CEO comes running to my office. I want to meet this person. How did you do it? Can you tell me with all your 100 years experience how would that be? With all humility, please don't misunderstand. कैसे क्या होगा?
Let me first answer your first question. Sir, I think I don't have, with you are not deferred to me. I think if you all agree, my question to all of you.
I am nothing personal with any of you.
I'm just answering your first question, which was for me. You said you disagree about the business knowledge. See, that is what my precise answer. I said, what is the major limitation in the auditor? That's knowledge of business.
1,000% right. Inquisitive, I answered the second question, sir.
I have already answered in my first question. What is the limitation is of knowledge of business. Say derivative I given, derivative business. So business understanding is that is what excites it. In fact, you are not deferred. You are conquered my view what exactly I said. I believe I think that is what I shared and I question just to engage with you.
Question in Deloitte when I joined on my first day, sir.
Yes.
The head of consulting Deloitte asked me, how do you define consulting? Sir, I'm sorry, I'm going off track. Please excuse me. I'm going off track.
We are reconciled quickly. So that is what precisely my answer.
Consulting head of Deloitte India is asking me a question. Can somebody define what is consulting? So there is all new onboarding. So I just asked him only one thing. Consulting is a business in which you add one problem and you end up with a client having four more problems for which you get assignment. That is consulting. And
Take off line.
please answer my question, sir. How would you have done it? 2.6% to 1.1%. 6 महीने के अंदर.
Sir, we would like to hear your experience, how you have done it.
Sir, it's my great secret. I will give it to you for a price.
Sir, I know your trade secret. We are meeting after 21 years. I will keep you off the line.
Yeah.
2004 we have worked together. You are Mr. Hitesh Merchant.
Yeah, but I don't recognize you now. You become fat. Maybe I'm sorry.
No, I was this 21 years ago also. So you're doing audit for one of the shipping company.
Oh yeah.
I will talk to you offline.
Thank you. I appreciate you recognizing.
I discussed with
Sir, one
Mr.
is okay, but
Hitesh
I'm happy you
Merchant.
recognize me.
So with your style, I recognize that it's
Sir,
you.
style is inimitable. You can't copy my style.
Any other questions?
I thought you understood everything or everything as well.
It was very eye-opening and the very nicely framed questions. So you did justice. And what we learned was 100 crore saving. We appreciate it.
So friends, every year when the new conveners get appointed at study circle, they always come up, each and everyone comes up with the new ideas and all. So this year, in the month of April, when the new conveners were appointed, they came up with this idea of having a panel discussion on the internal audit, which we never had at our study circle, especially on the subject of internal audit. And that's why we are thankful to the conveners, first of all. And the conveners are open for the ideas from the members as well. They are going to come up with a Google form. And in the Google form, you can give your ideas of subjects you want to hear from the expert faculties and all. At the same time, if any of the members wants to come up as a faculty from the study circle, they can also fill up the Google forms for themselves. So, excellent session on the internal audit, where the expert in the subject were there today, and they shared their own experience of so many years of experience with us. So that must have definitely helped us. And may I request my colleague Sikandar Yadav to propose well as a vote of thanks to the panelists.
Thank you, Lalit bhai. I, on behalf of Borivali Central CP Study Circle, extend a heartfelt thanks to all our esteemed panelists, CA Amit Trivedi, CA Meghna Bohra, and CA Chetan Thakkar, for sharing their valuable insights and experiences during today's engaging discussion. A special thanks to our wonderful moderator, CA Sachin Maloo sir, for steering discussion with thoughtful and relevant questions. In modern business, internal audit isn't just a checkpoint. It's a strategic partner that helps navigate risk, drive transparency, and ensure sustainable growth. Thank you all the panelists and moderator. Now I request members for a loud applause. Thank you.